Welcome to the Mining and Raleigh Jameson Museum. We are in our 1845 Bevans mine. We're going to take a quick tour of the mine and the Oyster House. To start with, we are about 50 feet down. 50 to 60 feet is common for lead mines in this region, so it's not terribly far underground. We are surrounded by Ordovician dolomite. And this dolomite is very similar to limestone. It's very grainy. It's from the Ordovician period, which does make it between 400 and 500 million years old. This was once a tropical sea. And because of that, we do have a fossil. We believe is a receptaculite. A receptaculite is an algae, so we don't have an animal fossil in here as far as we know. Lead mining in the upper Mississippi Valley really began with the First Nations. They would not dig a mine 50, 60 feet down, but they would dig into the side of a hill. They would create trenches. They would also create holes that we think of as, or know of as digs. And they are mining the galena lead ore. They would smelt it, burning off the sulfur, and then they would take that lead and create art, trinkets, and they would use it for trade and art. Early Europeans, including fur traders and explorers, came to this region and soon discovered that there was plenty of lead ore here, or galena. With that, more and more Americans and eventually a lot of immigrants coming from Western Europe. Around here, we're very familiar with the Cornish immigrant story. Cornish had been mining in Cornwall, England for centuries. And so when they came here, they brought with them plenty of skill. They were able to mine deeper underground, like 50, 60 feet. They were able to support the mine that they're in using timber and different ways of mining to create support structures. They also used waste rock. If it didn't have ore in it, they could use that to support the mine. The Cornish also brought the windlass with them, which allowed the miners to get in and out of the mine more easily and also to bring their ore out. The windlass works a lot like getting water from a well. And you just crank the sides and it would wrap up the rope and up would come the bucket. Once a miner has a full bucket of lead ore, he will take it out of the mine using a windlass. From here, he could smelt it himself with his own makeshift furnace, or he could sell it to a smelter, and the smelter will take care of the smelting process for him. After it's been smelted, the lead will be formed into a pig of lead or ingot, and from here it'll be shipped off to be used for things like pipe, paint, shot or bullets. It was used in toys and in glass, amongst other things. After the Civil War, the lead in this region is dwindling and the demand lessened. But the miners knew that there was another ore here, and that's zinc. Zinc sphalerite and zinc smithsonite. So beginning in the 1860s, zinc is king, and companies are established to create large zinc mines. In some of these zinc mines, they did also mine the lead ore. Zinc in this region is 100 to 300 feet on average. So to get that far down, you're using drills to dig down. Also, once you're that far underground, you're under the water table. So it's not just dripping from time to time like it does in a lead mine, but in a zinc mine, the water will be rushing in and it has to be pumped out. The tools, the drill and the pump, these are also tools that the Cornish would have been well versed in. The mucker was tasked with filling the ore cans. When these ore cans were full, they were between 1,000 and 1,500 pounds. So it's about the weight of a small elephant. Because they're so heavy, we need different tools to help get them out of the mine. One of the things that they'd have to use is a track or a tramway. Starting out, a miner might be tasked with pushing it along the tramway to the shaft, where it would take it to the surface. Later, they would switch to mules, and then even later, they would switch to a locomotive or train. Today at the museum, you can ride a 1931 Wickham locomotive mine train. Once the ore can is the bottom of the shaft, it has to be taken to the surface. And it will be pulled up using a hoist The hoist is housed in the hoist house, also called a head frame. Once the ore can is pulled to the surface, it will be dumped out onto the grizzly bars. The grizzly men will use hammers to break the larger pieces of waste rock away from the zinc ore. The waste rock will be thrown into a waste rock pile. It is garbage. The zinc ore and any smaller bits of waste rock will be broken up and they will fall between the grizzly bars. From here, it may be picked up by a truck and taken to a mill where they will further crush it, jig it, and begin a flotation process which uses chemicals to extract the zinc mineral from the ore. From here, it will be taken via train to places like LaSalle, Illinois, where it can be made into zinc oxide and zinc metals, where we would then use them for galvanizing other metals and make them rust-proof or rust-resistant. You find zinc oxide in your sunscreen, for example. It's also used in the process to make rayon and other metals. The last heyday in this region for zinc mining was really around the early 1900s. World War I created a demand for zinc. World War II did as well. By 1979, the very last zinc mine closed.